That was Don Moen with Jesus We Enthrone You. Well, listen to what David had to say in Psalm 55:22. He says, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you, and he will never let the righteous be forsaken." Now, Peter said a very similar thing about 1,000 years later when he said, "Cast all your cares on the Lord, for he cares for you." So here is a simple exhortation, a simple encouragement. Cast your cares on the Lord. That means give them over as quickly as possible. Throw them to the Lord, you might say. Say, "God, here is my anxieties. Here's my fears. Here's my concerns. Here's my stress. Here's my worry. I am literally throwing them at you because I cannot take it any longer." And it says, he will sustain you. That doesn't always mean that God takes them away, but what he does is he picks them up and he carries them with you. Of course, we're all familiar with footprints in the sand, where there are two footprints in the sand, and every once in a while those two footprints go into one, and the author or the poet says, "Lord, did you leave me at that time?" And the Lord says, "No, I carried you." So the Lord is going to carry you. He's called the great burden bearer. And it also says here, he will never let the righteous be shaken. That means that everything around you might be shaken. It might mean that your world seems to be falling apart. It seems to be rather chaotic or confusing, but not really, because you've got the rock that doesn't move. You've got, of course, a wonderful helper, and that is the Lord. And that's why Jesus said, put your faith in the Lord and also upon the rock. Now, Billy Graham tells of a story about a young boy who was in a storm and he managed to get onto the rock. And when he was rescued, they said, "Were you afraid?" He says, "No." He says, "I was afraid, but the rock wasn't afraid." And so you and I can put our trust in the Lord. That's why David said, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken." That is just a wonderful verse that you and I can stand on today. A little thought for you today from your friends here at AM 930 The Light.